everyone, it's Pam here with Tattered Paper and Lace, and I am back with you on April the 12th for the letter K of the ABC April 2025 challenge for the month of April. And today we're on letter K, and I'm using craft paper today, specifically craft paper envelopes. I have a lot of this whole box, which I don't know how many is in the box. Doesn't say. I don't think. Does not say. No, 50. Now the box is not completely full because I have used them for other things, but most of the box is there. We are going to be making a keepsake, a craft paper keepsake, or a craft paper envelope keepsake journal. That's a mouthful. Okay, you will need, so I'm using these envelopes, and they are, let's get the size. It does not matter what size you use. Let me just tell you what size these are. These are 8 3/4 by 6 3/4, almost 5 3/4, almost 5 3/4. So they're 8 3/4 by 5 3/4. Okay, you'll need 8 of them. You could possibly use 10 if you had them and wanted to. You can use any size. I have some smaller ones, but I thought this would be a nice size for what I am going to call a keepsake journal, because I am in my mind, I used to make mini albums, and in my mind I am thinking of this like almost like a mini journal, or a mini album, or one of those old-fashioned albums with a new twist, that had the pages that you can slip pictures in. Because with this, you would be able to, if your envelopes are small enough to go through your die cutting machine, you would be able to do this sort of like the old-fashioned album that had the cutout and you slip the picture in, the Victorian type. So what we are going to do, you still could do that even, if you wanted to freehand it. So what we're going to do first is take 2 of your envelopes. I've already done mine because I didn't want this to take forever. You take 2 of your envelopes and you put it on your board like this. Okay? And you go to where you will be making from this fold of the regular fold of the envelope, you go 1 inch here. See if I can do this so you can see it. Oops, let's do it this way. Okay, you're going to go 1 inch from the normal fold of the flap of the envelope out toward the point. You'll lay it in here. You'll take your scoring tool. You'll measure out 1 inch, and you'll score it, and you'll fold it and press it in. You're going to do that with 2 of them and then lay those aside. So I have my 2 right here. See, they're folded. That gives you a spine. We're going to lay those aside. Then you need 6 more or 8 more, and we're going to do them a little smaller, but they're going to also each have a little spine. So each one, you will open up the envelope with your flap to your right, and you're going to score. Let's get you in here close so you can see it. Okay, you're going to score at 1/16, which on this is a Martha Stewart scoreboard. On it is 1 little notch over. So here is where the can't see it. Here's where the normal line is on your envelope. its regular score, you're going to go 1/16 over. You're going to score it just like that, so that you have 1/16 from the original fold to the new fold. Let's pull you in just a little bit more so you can see that. So you have 1/16 from the original fold, the original fold to your 1/16. Then take your ruler. It doesn't have to be, it can be any ruler. It doesn't have to be a metal one. I just happen to have a metal one. And lay it, keep your envelope there, and lay it even with that score. You're doing this because 1/16 of a little spine is really hard to fold. But if you have your ruler there, you can fold this over, mash it down with your finger. Be sure you're staying on that line best you can. And then you take your bone folder, or whatever you use as your scoring tool, or your bone folder thing. And then you're going to, and I like to do it this way because it automatically kind of wants to move over to that score line. If you're doing it in this direction, fold your flap over. Let me get back out. So you fold your flap over to, when you're with your ruler. Actually, I like to do it without on the ruler side of it. And if you do it at the 1/16 and put it right on your line, and be sure you hold it all the way down the line, because if you don't, which I have done on a few, if you don't hold it tight so that you are actually scoring all the way down that line that you just made, that score mark you just made, then you'll have a little tiny spine like that. That's a 1/16 inch. So you want to make sure that's scored very well and burnished very well. And you're going to do that on all 6. Exactly like that on all 6. Now, I've already done mine. And here they are. You're not going to have to cut. We're not going to decorate this. We're just going to make the thing. And you'll have 6 little, we'll call them signatures, and each one have a spine. Okay, now we're doing this so there is room in between each one of these envelopes. There'll be that much room to have it, because we're gonna glue these together. And I'll show you how to do that in a minute. This is my own idea. I don't know if anybody else has ever done this. This one I need to redo. You can tell by looking at it I didn't get that folded correctly. So let's try that one again at 1/16. 1/16. Score it nice and sharp all the way down. Take your ruler. You also can do it like this. Take your ruler, you can do this like this. And that will help crease it. And then we crease it and burnish it. And burnish it down. Okay, that's better. Okay, go through with the scoreboard after you've done all 6 of your envelopes just like that. You've got 6 left after you did the first 2. So let's review. The first 2, you took the flap, laid it on your scoreboard, and you made an inch score, an inch from the original envelope. And that's going to look like that. And you do 2 of them that way, okay? Then you do the other 6. And the other 6 are going to be a 1/16. So essentially you're making a spine with these flaps. So this is how big your spine is going to be, which this is a little bit smaller than an inch. This is 1 3/4 inches. We probably could put one more in there and make it 7 pages, but I'm not going to do that. I think 6 will work, and I'll tell you, this is what it's going to look like when we're done. You're going to have these in here like this. You're going to have these in here like this, and that's going to go like this. And let me pull you out a little bit more so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is going to be your spine, and then this is your open pages, and these two flap over for a decorative closure. Okay? That way you see the difference between the spine end and the other end, which can expand to the same width. You have lots of room to add embellishments. Okay? So that's how that's going to work. Now, we can do this 2 ways. You can do this so that, and I think I may try this one this way. You can do this. I've not made this before. This is just in my head, so hopefully it works out. You can just take this and hold it on this side. Open this up. Put glue on all of these little spines. And so you gotta make sure they're all nice and flat. So put glue on all of these little spines, and then keeping this closed, fold this over and let it kind of spread out so that it takes up the space. So that is, you don't have to, you hold it, you let them spread out, and you fold it over onto the glue and let it kind of spread out. And you have a little time, depending on the glue you use. I would suggest you not use a glue stick. I'm going to use art glitter glue. So if you use a glue stick, I don't think it's going to stay. Okay? So you're going to do, that's what we're going to do. And I was originally going to, and you still can do that. I was originally going to glue each flap to the other, but you have to do it on the line, the score you made closest to the point. You're going to have to do it on that space. So you would take it and glue this. It's kind of hard to explain. Fold it over. And this one doesn't want to fold over good for some reason. That's why I think the other way is actually probably easier. Fold this on the crease, the new crease that you made, and you can tell here. See, that's my 16th there, because that little notch is there. Because your envelope flap is not straight across, coming straight down like that. So you're going to have that little notch. That does not matter. That isn't going to matter. We'll put it that way. See if we can't make that. So if you have them folded like that, and you want to glue each one of these together, which we can do, then you'll take this crease, the new one you made, and put it against the next envelope on the original flap, so that the two edges are together. Okay, so that when you opened it back up or pushed these back out so that they have the spine, they will be in line with each other. Okay, I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with this one. It looks like I didn't make it be a 16th. It doesn't look as wide as the others. Okay, so you want this crease, which is the one that you made, the new one you made. Glue the flap down to this envelope. Glue this flap down to this envelope, but make sure it is lined up, basically is what I'm saying. So that that's flat. And then you'll take the next one and you'll glue this flap to this envelope and just make sure that they're lined up so that you have a little spine for each one. Okay, does that make sense? Let's do that. Let's see if we can do that. I'm going to use my art glitter glue. Let's hope it works today. Okay, and you want your flaps to be in the back of all this, because you want a solid front on this one, at least the first one. But it's just better if you just do them all. Fold it over, glue it down, put it on. I gotta pull you back out. That's as far as it'll go. Let me push you up a little bit. There we go. And just make sure that these are even. So let's go with that. Okay. Like I said, I hadn't put this together myself, so I'm flying by the seat of my pants. So we're going to, like I said, this is just what I envision in my head. We're going to take this and we're going to glue all of this. I'm going to take this and do this. Do it this way. This, like this. And then I'm going to put them together like that. And let's just make sure that we have it even. Yep, that looks good. Okay, then I'm just going to take this, open it up and press it down. Really good, as long as you got it in the right place. Okay, let's do it with this. And then you should have two together like that. That's the way this one looks. I see it's bent down some. So you got to make sure that you put them even. Okay, it's not really that hard to do, but you just got to be careful. So let's do it again. Be sure not to glue onto this little tiny spine you have here, because you don't want to glue that down. So we have that. I'm going to take this and do it like this. Make sure it's even. Make sure a little spine. Make sure this is even this way. And make sure that this is like this. So you see what you're doing, and then when you get them all together, you can fold it back out. So it's gonna look like this. So if that's easier for you, I didn't get that one quite even. Let's see if we can move it. Got a little bit of time, not much. So we're gonna put it here and here. That does make it a little bit easier. Gotta make sure you get it right on there though. And it's a little forgiving. I mean, the whole thing is a little forgiving, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. There we go. In all of paper crafting, everything is a little bit forgiving. And it's handmade, so it isn't going to be perfect to begin with. But there we go. Now we got 3 of them on there. Okay, I'm going to try it that way again. That might be easier to do it that way. You just flatten down all of your envelopes like that. Take this one do it like that as well. Flatten it down, put it on that line. Like that is where it will go. So you have sort of, you know, stair steps, I'll call it, but it's not really that. Okay, so let's put this glue on this. You mainly want the glue, you're going to be covering up when you decorate, you'll be covering up. Probably, you don't have to. You actually don't have to do that if you don't want to cut. If you don't want to add paper, you don't have to. You can just add your photos or your embellishments or whatever and leave it the craft paper color. Okay, you see how I have that folded up? I've got to move this over here so I can see. Hopefully you can still see too. And then we're going to put that on that line so that we have a stair step. Making sure they're even this way as much as possible. And varnish it down. And then when you bend it the other way, this is what you're going to have. One more, two more. Okay, now we do this one. Bend it. Yeah, this is an easier way to do it. Bend it so that you are on the fold, the crease that you made. So you have a crease here, and then you're folding on the crease beyond that. Then take your flap, outside of your flap, glue it. You see I don't have a very straight hand when it comes to that, right? Okay, then we just glue around the edges. Glue it in the middle. The edges are the most important, but get a little bit in the middle as well. And then we're going to take this like this. Make sure you fold it down right, like this. Okay, I'm going to crease that. Okay, so you've got your little stair steps. See each one. Okay, and then we're going to put this one on this fold that's laying flat right here. Right there and there. Just like that. I hope this is not too confusing. It's really not that hard to do, but it's kind of hard to explain. Okay, that works. Got one more. One more to do. Leave it, we'll just leave it folded like that for now. I'll take this, make sure we're up so that you have the original, this is the original fold and this is the fold you made. Turn it this way, put your glue on it. Now there is, I'll talk about that in a minute. Let's get this on here. You put this here and there, making sure that you have this fold up next to that fold line, score line. Okay, there we go. Let's let that dry a minute while I put my glue back away. We're not done quite yet, but we're close. This was the hardest part. Now, you should have this. So take it, you've had it folded this way, take it and fold it again this way. And you see mine's not perfect, as you can see, but it isn't really going to matter. This is going to go in here, just like that. Okay, so the next thing we do, now, you can now take this, if you want to, you can take and put glue all over this and wrap this around and glue this to this, which is what it will do, is make this be glued down, and this will fold back like that, okay? And then when you have this one on here, you can't do that because this is your open end, okay? And you will have this one open up like that. Now that we have these glued together, you wouldn't have to glue those in that way because you have this flap that you can glue this down. You can either slide it in here and glue it down, and this is the way I think I'm going to do it. Slide it in here. Well, I'm going to try to do it that way. How about that? Slide this one in, this flap in. This is the back of your whole little system here. If you just slide that in and glue that down, or you can just lay it on top and glue it down, you are going to have this flap also free, which will then open up, and these will then open up maybe easier. So that's the way I'm going to do mine, but instead of sliding it in, well, maybe I will slide it in. If I can get it in, it doesn't want to go in there. Slide this flap into this, and this is the front. Okay, do it like that. You have to leave this standing up while you do that. I've got to see if I can get down here now. Hopefully, I can't see inside the camera. I can't see myself through the camera, but I also can't do this while I'm standing up because it's not, I can't see it well enough. But you see this score line here? You still don't want to glue that on the score line. You still want to do it like that. I really didn't get that on there. This is wider down here. Oh well, like I said, it's very forgiving. So I am again going to, and hopefully I can get it in there. I'm going to glue this mainly on this end is where you want it to be glued. Okay, come on, glue. Glue don't want to come out yet now. Really? I don't get this glue. I just don't get it. There we go. The more you put, the actual more lead time you have. Okay, so we're going to take this flap and we're going to put it in this, which should essentially be the front of your, and you're just going to put it up to that first crease so that you still have your, like that, so you still have your little spines on each envelope. And then we're going to put it inside there, just like that. Okay, and then we're going to glue this envelope all the way completely to the back. You're going to glue this envelope to this envelope all the way. Just right on this first crease, all the way, and then it'll be over here. So we want to glue this. This is your other 1-inch spine piece. So we're going to glue this all the way. You can glue this closed too if that might make it feel a little more secure. I don't know. I'll just put a little along the edge because it's going to be closed. You're going to go all the way around, leaving the inch spine on this section free. Okay, so it is going to go with the flap to the, if you've got yours laying with the flap to the right, to the left, the front flap to the left, you're going to take this and put the right flap, the next one with the flap to the right, and you're going to line it up with that, right with that, press it down, and it should be lined up with this. So you're actually attaching the back envelope to the front. You're attaching, these are, if you can see that, this is the 1-inch spine and this is the 1-inch spine. Those are two different envelopes, and you're just attaching those two together on the largest piece. If I'm making any sense, I hope I am. Get that burnish down real good. And now what you have is a journal, keepsake journal, keepsake mini album, whatever you want to call it. It can be either. Okay, and you have room for embellishments. Here, if you don't want to glue that down, you can glue that down, and that would be okay because it still would open up nice and flat. I think I'm going to leave mine free. And then what you can do is pull you back in just a little tiny bit. There we go. Then what you can do is this will be your closure. So you can do the string with the little, the little buttons and close it. If you don't have so much in it that will overlap some, it'll only overlap a little bit. You could use a magnet or a little piece of Velcro, or you can, after you've embellished it, you can just see what it does, and you could put an eyelet over here and an eyelet over here and tie a piece of ribbon around it. You could tie a piece of ribbon around the whole thing. Do that before you decorate, and then you have the ribbon to tie. But here you just have, you have a little journal. Let's pull you back out. Excuse me, went the wrong way. Okay, so you have a little journal, basically. Now, when you're decorating this, you can, and what I will do if I'm going to decorate this, is I would do scrapbooking paper or collage, book page, whatever papers you decide to use, and I would cover this, and then I would also cover this side. But you can leave this as a pocket if you wanted to have a place for keepsakes. If you wanted to do an opening like a vintage album has, let me show you one. This is a very old one that's going to get made into a journal. If you wanted to do cutouts like these have, then before you put all of this together, you can slip your die inside here, if your envelope will go through your die cutting machine, and position it to cut an oval or a square or whatever. Or you can take whatever paper you're going to cover this with. Say you're going to use scrapbook paper. You can then die cut your opening then And when you glue it down, you just make sure you leave a space, because these, for instance, let's see if that one's attached. Let me just lift this up. You see it? This has a slit. Of course, it's tearing apart, but this is an oval and it has a slit. This is where you put the picture through. So if you're going to do that on your scrapbooking paper, you would cut your oval, and then you would take your X-Acto knife on your scrapbooking paper and cut that slit so you can slide the photo up. Could be at the top too if you wanted to slide it down. But that's how these old ones work. Or you can just not do that if you don't want to, and just use photo corners to put your pictures down, or just glue them down with nothing particular to say that they're being held down with. And that's what we have today. And I'm calling this a craft paper envelope keepsake journal. And I think it'll be kind of, I'm anxious to see how it works. So you can either leave the pockets or cover the pockets up and just have these pages with pictures and whatever. If we had, and I know this is a lot of information and you might not remember it all, but if we had not glued these envelopes together, but instead glued the spines, just the spines to here, then that would have left these flaps also free, that you could then have made another page and attached it to that flap. But I think this will be a little more secure. I think the other would work and work fine, but this will be a little bit more secure. So you have all this room. You have all this room. You can see the difference between your spines and this. You have all of that room to embellish. So it's not going to get alligator on you. And you can check it because it's already put together, so you can check it as you're embellishing whether you're over embellishing or not. Okay, so that is my letter K for craft paper envelope keepsake journal. Thank you for coming along. Hit the like button if you liked this video. Hit the notification bell and the subscribe button if you'd like to see further videos from me. Also, let me make one more point. You see how the envelope, well, when you make your piece to go over this part, you can make that come straight out and then come in so that you're covering that if you want to. And if you don't cover that, it's okay. It'll just have that little bit of a unique binding, and that's okay. If you wanted to do this as a separate piece and do it all the way down, you could do that. So anyway, I hope you like this video. Again, hit the like button, the notification bell, and the subscribe button. You'll get further videos from me. If you've just found me, welcome. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back, and it's good to see you again, and I hope I see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.